One of the unexpected joys of hosting our At Home with Video series has not just been all the exposure to some of the most beautiful homes in the world, but how their owners' fearlessness and intuition, not to mention knowledge, inspired me to translate their soulful rooms into my own here in Connecticut. It's never a direct translation, of course, it never can, nor should it be. But by taking their moments that moved me emotionally and recreating those feelings into my own nooks and crannies, ended up helping me tell my own story at home. As soon as we arrived at designer Timothy Corrigan's chateau in France, there was a sense of drama that all the fallow deer antlers in the entry gave. On my own little front porch, which seemed very bland from the exterior, I bought many of Suzanne Kassler's, another one of our wonderful video hosts, atelier antlers that she created for Ballard Designs. Their bright white shapes give an unexpected sense of welcoming and announce that nothing too ordinary is to be found inside. So many designers have taught me that the more you hang of anything, no matter their monetary value, the more impressive it becomes. In my little sun porch, where the B&B guests used to have their meals back in the old days, I wanted to greet my own guests with a splash of color that still felt balanced. Katie Ritter and Peter Penoyer's thoughtful color palette in their own Millbrook retreat is an unexpected jewel palette of cheerful tones that encouraged me to be bold as soon as you walked in the door. I repeated the rug to make sure it felt balanced too. Designer Penny Morrison's grand living room in Wales mixed all the feels of the great traditional English country houses, but with some bohemian touches of textiles that keep it sublime instead of stuffy. When I returned from that shoot, I knew that in my own living room addition, I wanted to fill the open space with a mixture of both traditional and modern art the way Penny had done, but also combined her knack of mixing traditional accessories with fabrics from far-flung corners of the world. To know fashion designer Johnson Hardick is to love him, not to mention his unique talent when it comes to bringing pattern into a room. As soon as I saw his plates and platters wallpaper for Schumacher in his own Los Angeles home, I knew I had to have this trompe-l'oeil effect in my own kitchen, and of course above my stove the way he had done it above his. What gave me the courage is how he had simply tacked his behind his stove. He hadn't worried about the installation of it at all, so I didn't either. When I sat on designer Miles Redd's blue sofa in his East Village townhouse, I instantly felt a happy charge, and I knew I had to live with that same cobalt blue myself. It dared me to paint the walls of my TV area in Benjamin Moore's Indiegogo. I wasn't afraid to paint a dark space such a bold color because so many of our designer hosts have exemplified that those are the very rooms you need to fill with personality. So I added a vintage oriental screen on top, yellow velvet curtains, and a green velvet sofa, and suddenly a nothing space feels like the inside of an exotic place where you want to linger. When my boys tacked a museum postcard I loved on our guest room door for no apparent reason, I actually kept it there, remembering how much I loved it when Ken Folk numbered all the guest room doors at his own Provincetown home. When Stacy and I shot designer Emma Burns's home for our At Home in the English Countryside book, I was struck by her elegant vintage Persian stair runner. She raved at how forgiving these rugs were for paw prints, and so for my own 3 dogs, I wanted to recreate the same look, but I didn't quite have the budget to duplicate it exactly. So I simply found some inexpensive carpet runners online that were alive with pattern, and brought 3 of them and hired a very competent installer, and voila! Photographers and stylists Will and Susan Brinson made me ditch blah bath mats in our son's bathroom in favor of vintage oriental rugs, which work just as hard and look so much chicer. Designer Jil Sharp Weeks is a master at styling deeply personal landscapes on every surface of her endlessly chic Charleston home. For Jill, the vessel is as important as what it carries. No detail is too unimportant, and everything has merit, no matter the monetary value. Because of Jill, I only display what I love and what I use. Because of this, no matter where my eye turns on my rooms, it is happy. When I saw potter extraordinaire Christopher Spitzmiller's profusion of purple on his spectacular outdoor terrace in upstate New York, it showed me how outdoor spaces don't have to be limited to just greens and white stripes. It took me some time to experiment to get it right, but I finally found that mine looked best in golden yellows and creams with a little bit of blues, in an outdoor fabric that I got by the yard and I had my local seamstress just cover some existing pillows. I also buy cotton Indian bedspreads from my organic supermarket, and I just leave them out all night and change them all summer long, and I don't worry if they get faded or wet. I even added a black and white striped umbrella to give it the kick I wanted. Bunny Williams and John Rosselli's Connecticut barn showed me that a rustic space separate from a main house could also feel formal and cozy. As Bunny and John's is a beloved social gathering place, so too was my 100-year-old barn, where guests that used to stay in the little B&B next door to it, which is now my main house, used to gather for cocktails, puzzles, and ping pong. So too do my boys when they come home to visit to this very day. No matter where they live and what design style they vigilantly embrace, every single designer has shown me that one core principle always works. Don't be afraid, buy what you love. Not only will it work, but it will transform your spaces from mere rooms to a home. Whether I'm buying a fabric, a fork, or furniture, I try to embrace this every day. Don't miss another video visit. Click on the orange Q to subscribe and have Quintessence virtually delivered from our doorstep to yours.